Hey guys, what's going on? Steven back again, and I'm back with another 40K video from the channel Astartes Anonymous. And the title of the video is 5 Brutal Loyalist Last Stands. Who doesn't like a good last stand? Am I right? Alright, so let's get on to the video and find out what those 5 were. Here we go.
In a galaxy as deadly and so riven by war as the 41st millennium, not every battle goes in the Imperium's favor. The armies of man are put in desperate situations endlessly, constantly tasked with hopeless odds. Many armies find their backs against the wall with no choice but to stand their ground. They make their last stand to at least carve their legend into the annals of Imperial history. And here are just 5 of those heroic rages against the end.
Okay.
Seen in 2013's Traitor's Gorge, the Crimson Fists lost near everything when their chapter monastery exploded due to a faulty missile. Their forces were utterly devastated, their GC stores were lost, and their main defensive bastion against the coming Orc War was a smouldering crater. So, Rin's world burned, and the Crimson Fist seemed all but doomed to be wiped from the Imperium. Yet, after a heroic journey to New Rin City, the Crimson Fists held out long enough for Imperial reinforcements to arrive, and the Orc War to be broken. What concerns us today, though, is this. What happened 6 months after the war was broken, and the Imperial reinforcements left the remaining Crimson Fists to clean up the shattered remnants of the Orc War? It was during this cleanup that Pedro Cantor and 24 Marines found a large holdout of orcs in a valley that would become legend. Traitor's Gorge. Pursuing the remnants of one orc warband into the valley, the Marines had to enter through a tight passage in the rocks, the only way in and out of the gorge. After dealing with the orcs they were chasing, they found they were completely surrounded. The Marines had no hope of reinforcements. All their allies had left or were otherwise engaged, and the entire chapter's stock of Thunderhawks was destroyed or damaged. So the Crimson Fists formed a ring, and the Orcs came wave after wave. The Crimson Fists reaped a heavy tally. The Sons of Dawn, putting into practice their prodigious skills with the bolter, saw to it that no one orc made it eye to eye with them. When they ran out of ammo, they stood shoulder to shoulder, a ring of blades, slaying so many orcs that they literally began to build defensive walls out of their corpses. The Crimson Fists' attrition dragged so long that most of their blades broke. In desperation, they picked up orc weapons, wielding their own crude axes and guns against the greenskins. Yet, it was hopeless. The orcs were too many, and one by one, the Crimson Fists began to die. Pedro Cantor even made peace with his own death. But suddenly, from the cliff tops, shadowy figures appeared, firing strange weapons at the orcs, and leading the greenskins into traps which sliced them to shreds. The Crimson Fists were saved, and their saviors were revealed to be the Eldar of Alitok. The Eldar's Farseer had foreseen that Cantor would prevent the uprising of a powerful orc warlord that would eventually go on to destroy their craft world. After a few terse words, the Eldar and the surviving Crimson Fists parted ways, and Cantor went on to hunt this orc warlord, while the Eldar returned to the safety of their craft world.
Of course they did.
I will die on this
world. So is that why the Eldar just came and saved them
to head the moment he stepped onto the hive world of Armageddon? As seen in Hell's Reach, the Third War for Armageddon is one of the biggest Orc versus Imperial conflicts in the Imperium's history. The Orcs were led by Ghazghul Mag Uruk Thraka, the Prophet of Gork, or quite possibly Mork, who had come to the world as Gaz had a vision of a great war there, and this vision was swiftly fulfilled. The Imperials not only wished to defend this important manufacturing world, but saw the situation as a chance to finally slay the Great Green Prophet. Hell's Reach itself was relatively unimportant. Sure, it was still an important manufacturing hub, but so was every other hive on the world. The real place of vital importance was the Hemlock River, where they planned to break the Orc War in the field. The siege of Hell's Reach is as long as it is legendary. Grimoldus did a lot with relatively little, but it was a defeat. Hell's Reach fell. There were numerous last stands in the hive, valiant defenders from guard air bases to noble houses, each died to a man trying to hold back the green skins. Yet, it is Grimoldus' last stand in the Temple of the Emperor Ascendant that captured the minds of the Imperials and fans alike. Grimoldus and his squad retreated back to the Temple District, their chaplain seeking to die on holy ground. A handful of other guard forces were there with them as they made a valiant stand in the temple's courtyard, even gaining some reinforcements in the form of the temple's Adeptus Sororitas. At the time, it all seemed pointless. An orc scrap gargant was bearing down on those final defenders, one so mighty it had felled the Imperator Titan Storm Herald. Yet the true beginning of this last stand was signified by that gargant's destruction. A secret weapon of the Mechanicus, the Ordinatus Armageddon, was unearthed and awakened on Grimaldus' orders.
And unloaded
the
onto
giant
it.
Nova Cannon weapons platform destroyed the Gargant in a single shot, but despite this, Grimaldus declared the city lost. He told Jurizian, the sole tech marine piloting the Ordinatus, to take it far from the hive. The survivors in the courtyard retreated into the temple's inner sanctum, where they would hold their ground.
Can't afford to
the
lose
orcs
it.
rushed into the temple, and swiftly the fighting devolved into a bloody melee. One by one, Grimaldus watched his brothers die, one even begging for his aid as they burned. Grimaldus' best friend, Atarian, died back-to-back with the chaplain as the temple collapsed all around them. Miraculously, Grimaldus and a handful of other guardsmen survived, though only Grimaldus was remembered by history. Relics were taken from the temple, and Grimaldus was raised into an icon of faith by the ecclesiarchy. Later, reinforcements would arrive, and, thanks to the season of fire, a period of massive tectonic activity that forced the orcs to retreat, Hellsreach was able to be retaken. For Grimaldus, we think his perspective can be summarized by quoting the man himself. "Hero of Hellsreach, they call me, as if there was only one."
At least
It was
it's
a hard
honorable.
choice between Istvan
There was
3
more
and the
than just
Dropsite
him.
Massacre, but we decided to put Istvan 3 on here for one simple reason. Istvan 3 saw a simple line captain, an officer no one expected any greatness of, led a ragtag bunch of ambushed Astartes, who were outnumbered and outgunned to a stalemate against most of the traitor Primarchs. This man was none other than Saul Tarvitz. As seen in Galaxy in Flames, Saul Tarvitz was overlooked and derided within his own legion. Yet, when he discovered Horus's betrayal, he not only warned the Loyalists on the planet, but went down to the surface and assumed command of the Loyalist forces. He worked with Garviel Loken and Tarek Torgadon, both Loyalist sons of Horus, and they rallied the Loyalists after Horus's initial bombardment. The Loyalists who had occupied the defensive works had moments before being assaulted, and honestly stood a better chance here than at the Dropsite Massacre. The Loyalists at the Dropsite were caught in the open unloading of their dropships, whereas at Istvan 3 they had bunkers, trenches, and citadels. They fought the traitors every step of the way to the final citadel where they dug in for a siege. Under this mere line officer, the finest commanders of the traitors, Primarch and Astartes alike, were repelled from the walls of Pral's stronghold. They could have easily held for who knows how long, perhaps even long enough for Nathaniel Garrow, who was, as this battle raged, racing to warn the Emperor. We can't stress how insanely capable Saul Tarvitz proved himself as a commander during this battle, and how brave. He had the same option as Garrow to retreat, but he made planetfall knowing full well what he would face. Throughout the book, Fulgrim, Saul Tarvitz is derided by his fellow Emperor's children, but on the bloodstained rock of Istvan 3, he proved himself a tactical genius on par with a Primarch. So when did this siege turn into a last stand? Lucius, not yet having earned his moniker, the Eternal, was utterly jealous of Saul Tarvitz. This line officer, a hero? More glorious than Lucius, the Master Swordsman? No. So Lucius betrayed his brothers, betrayed the defenders of Istvan 3, though Saul Tarvitz would deal him one last wound. Saul defeated Lucius in a duel, failing to kill the traitor by the narrowest of margins. It was too late though. Lucius's betrayal had sealed the Loyalists' defeat. Horus ordered massive bombardments of Pral's citadel, and the last we saw of Saul Tarvitz was still holding back the traitors, fighting for every inch.
Demon Primarch
There was a time where
Horus
many
look
fans
like?
believed that Saul Tarvitz was in fact not dead, as we never actually see his body. But sadly, Warhammer community and various writers have confirmed that he died in the final bombardment of the world.
But that would be an interesting thing, what demonic Primarch Horus would look like.
Gilliman awakens, and the Primaris are released upon the galaxy. The Blood Angels fight a desperate last stand, as seen in Devastation of Baal. Baal Prime, and Baal Secundus are under assault from the Tyranids of High Fleet Leviathan. The Blood Angels have assembled near every one of their successors, and are practically fighting at Legion strength, but to no avail. They're losing ground at every front. Whole chapters disappear in the blink of an eye, as, despite the Blood Angels reaping a heavy toll on the foe, the Tyranids are simply too numerous. Their first line of defense fell when the Tyranids piled up so many dead in their moat that their larger bioforms could simply walk across the corpses. The second line fell when a lictor infiltrated the fortress monastery and disabled its void shields. 5 chapter masters fell, trying to hold the line, but their efforts were all for naught. Baal Secundus is already being devoured thanks to the Swarm Lord forcing Gabriel Seth to retreat. Dante then slays the Swarm Lord, but is badly wounded in the fight. A relative handful of the sons of Sanguinius stand between them and annihilation with the Sanguinor rise, a shining golden avatar of Sanguinius himself. He carves through the Tyranids, slaying them in the hundreds, but it means nothing. Baal is doomed. The Tyranids have won, and the legacy of Sanguinius shall end here. The remaining Blood Angels ready themselves for the end. Then, the sky opens. Yet, it's not salvation, but merely another foe. The Great Rift opens, and above Baal, a host of cornate demons emerge, howling into reality. The bloodthirster Kabanda
Here we go, boys.
declaring to the Tyranids that none had the right to end the sons of Sanguinius, but they themselves. Kabanda had dueled Sanguinius long ago, and is thought by some to be the origin point of the Red Thirst in the Blood Angels. The Great Rift cut off any Tyranid reinforcements, meaning those on Baal could be easily slaughtered by the demons. All forces on Baal Prime were slaughtered, Dante and Gabriel Seth only escaping thanks to the sacrifice of an entire chapter known as the Knights of the Blood. Finally, salvation came. The Indolatus Crusade arrived at Baal, led by the newly returned Primarch Rabute Gilliman. The Crusade mopped up the last of the demons and Tyranids on the 3 celestial bodies of Baal, ending the devastation. A harrowing event for all that was in truth just a string of desperate last stands, one
now that would be
after
cool
another.
to see.
Our final, heartbreaking entry comes from The End and the Death, Volume 3. The Emperor lies, seemingly lifeless, on the floor of a chamber within the Vengeful Spirit. Alania's person has travelled far to be here, all the way from ancient Earth history, before the days that the world was known as Terra. For you see, Olanius is a perpetual, a being unable to die. Yet, that doesn't matter here. Horus can kill perpetuals. Olanius and the Emperor were friends once. Eons ago, but Olanius isn't anywhere near as powerful or as strong. Olanius is just a simple man, gifted with eternal life. In the same room as Olanius, as he tends to the seemingly dead Emperor, is Horus. Laying on his back, stunned by ancient magic and badly wounded from his duel with the Emperor. Yet, he stirs. Dark light swirls around him and knits together his body, reforges his armor. He rises, even more terrible than before, all the might of chaos swirling through him. For if the Emperor will not become the 5th Chaos God, then Horus will. The heavy footfalls of the War Master echo through the room, only accompanied by the dragging of his gigantic mace. Yet, one other noise sounds out in the room. Alanius, fumbling with his rifle, screaming at Horus to stay back and to come no further. Alanius' screaming advances a step towards the incarnation of chaos, the would-be god towering over the man, burning with the destruction of the galaxy and all the despair life brings. He doesn't even notice Alanius' screams or protests. What is this man to him? Less than a speck of dust. Alanius opens fire. It does nothing. And, with a swat of his hand, Horus turns Alanius into a spray of red mist, utterly destroying the Perpetual's soul, leaving not even a flicker of him. Yet, this single pause to swat Alanius was all the Emperor needed to awaken, to rise,
strength,
to end Horus and reduce him to nothing. In a way, the galaxy was saved from utter annihilation by one man. Not a Primarch, not an Astartes, but a man. Pity not the Guardsman, for within it beats the heart of a man.
Now, how does his story live on and stuff like that? Who else witnessed?
Behind every paragraph and reference in these videos, there's a mountain of research, editing, and more than a few burnt-out cogitators. That's where our
you know,
patrons
since
come
there really
in, with
wasn't
multiple
like anyone
tiers
there,
offering a variety of
apparently
things,
to
from
witness
exclusive
that
chats in our
event.
Discord to
You know,
personalized
had, like,
artwork created for our
other Space
individual
Marines trying to
patrons.
take, you know,
Every
credit and be like,
subscription
no,
keeps the
it was the
machine spirit
custodians
of the
that
Astartes
did it, you
Anonymous
know?
YouTube channel appeased.
You know,
And for our
instead of
top-tier
being shown
patrons,
up by
a display on the wall of honor at the
really
end of
a
each
guardsman,
podcast.
a
So if you're
man,
enjoying the
just a regular
content,
man,
please do consider
did
taking a
that.
quick look at our
You know,
Patreon.
kind of like outshining like
Thanks so much for
a
watching.
Space Marine or a Custodes. So I mean, I have heard, I don't know if that is true or not, but, you know, other people trying to, you know, no, that was a Space Marine that did that. No, that was a Custodes that did that. So, yeah, was anyone there to really witness that event of Alanius, you know? But other than that, yeah, that was really cool. A lot of really cool Last Stands, Traitor's Gorge, Hell's Reach, awesome animation series, so good. Istvan 3, that was really cool as well. The Devastation of Baal, man, that would be awesome to see. I don't know, movie, TV series, something, you know, anything with this Amazon deal. Hopefully something is going on with it. You know, it's been quite a few years and really haven't heard anything about it. So hopefully, you know, I mean, I know you got to start small. You don't want to jump into something major. You know, you want to, I mean, obviously, Warhammer fans, you know, yeah, let's see the Space Marines and stuff like that. Let's see, you know, all this good stuff. Let's see, you know, the Horse Heresy and all this stuff. You also want to get more people who, you know, are not, you know, yeah, I know 40K, yeah, I know, like, Space Marines, yeah, the Blue Boys and stuff like that. They don't know, you know, the lore. You want to try to bring them in too, and you don't want to start with, okay, what is going on here? What are all these, like, Primarchs, and who are these guys, and who is that? And, you know, you want to build a world, you know, you want to show the grim darkness of, hey, this is what basically this universe is going to be like. And, you know, you start small, you know, you don't want to overwhelm new people and stuff like that with too much stuff, you know. Okay, so this is what the world is going to be like, this is what the universe is going to be like. Okay, so it's going to be dark and gritty and very disturbing. Okay. You know, so I mean, either way, we'll have to wait and see. I mean, hopefully we'll hear something about that, but I mean, just so many events and stuff like that I'd love to see play out in like a movie or a TV show. And just, you know, I mean, you could do something like Devastation of Baal, even if it's just a war, just straight war, because I mean, what was that movie, Chris Pratt's in it. It was actually a really good movie. It also came out, I guess, at the right time, you know, during COVID and stuff like that. It didn't do good in movie theaters, but it was released on Amazon, and apparently it was very, you know, watched a lot. God, I know they're making a sequel to it. The Tomorrow War. Yeah, there we go. Could do something like that, because, I mean, that had little, you know, I mean, it had a decent story, but that's basically all it was just a war. And, I mean, you know, there wasn't much else to it. Yeah, there was, you know, stories and stuff like that, but, I mean, either way, I thought that movie was great, and looking forward to the second one. So I mean, they could do something like that. I don't know. There's so many things they could do with this Amazon deal and stuff like that. But I mean, gotta slow down. We don't even have anything yet. We don't even know what is being worked on. What are we getting? Are we getting like Gaunt's Ghost? Are we getting Eisenhorn? Are we getting like an Inquisitor story? What are we getting? You know, are we getting a movie or are we getting a TV show? What are we even getting? So, yeah, I gotta Gotta slow it down on all the things. It's just there's so many cool things just love to see play out, but one thing at a time. And of course the other thing would be like I said a couple of times, it would be cool to see what demonic Horus would look like. You know, you got demonic Fulgrim with, you know, snake body and all the different arms and stuff like that. You got Mortarion, giant moth creature. My camera's going in and out. Not sure why it's adjusting the zoom. There we go. You know, you got Magnus, who looks really cool as well. And of course you got Angron. But yeah, I wonder what a demonic Horus would have looked like. That would be kind of cool. But other than that, yeah, there we go. There's the video. 5 brutal Loyalist last stands. That was really cool to learn about all that. And of course the last one, truly sad moment. The man who stood against Horus. Really cool. But yeah, other than that, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, hit that thumbs up button. That'd be awesome. Remember, feel free to subscribe to my channel. And of course, if there's any videos you guys want me to check out, let me know down below in the comments section, and I'll be happy to make a video on it. You know, I'm always looking for new topics and videos to check out and stuff. So, hey, let me know. But other than that, you know, just leave me all your thoughts and comments down below. And yeah, if you like the video, hit the thumbs up. That'd be awesome. And of course, feel free to subscribe to my channel. And just stick around. More videos are on the way. And I will see you guys next time.